Morning Geeks! Time to grab your coffee, time to get your chair, time to sit down and watch some Morning Geeks right here. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek right there. And of course, Morning Geeks, the show where we geek out over the morning. It is the morning, it is Friday morning, and I am here to give you your spiritual geekness. That's what I do, spiritual geekness. You want to be spiritually geeked? Yeah, that's what you want to do. And we've got a great jam-packed show today for you and your families. Get your families, sit around the fire, put it up on the big TV. It's all good. We're live here on Facebook. We're live here on YouTube. And we're live for you, the geek. Anyway, let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. It's Stardate 306-138.48. So, just so you know, Happy Veterans Day in the United States, of course, remembering all the veterans here and all the great work that you've done over the years and protecting us, keeping us safe, and keeping us free, even though this week doesn't feel like freedom. And there's only going to be a couple small references, just so you know. There is no political slants on here. Yes, we had an election. Yes, it's the day after election. Yes, some people are not happy. We move forward. We move on. We're not moving to Canada. I wouldn't mind moving to New Zealand, although all the other countries have had their people are applying to become citizens there, which is really weird. But anyway, happy Veterans Day in the United States. Happy Remembrance Day in the UK, Happy Armistice Day in New Zealand, France, Belgium, and Serbia, and Happy Independence Day in Poland, Angola, and Colombia. And some happy birthdays to some geeks out there as well. Happy birthday to Leonardo DiCaprio. And now we'll start again. Happy birthday to Leonardo DiCaprio, Stanley Tucci, Andrew J. West, and the baby lady herself. You know, baby lady. You're going, what? The baby lady? This girl right here. Miss Callista Flockhart. I can't fight that feeling. Baby is dancing round. Okay, that's enough of that. So, yeah, Callista Flockhart's her birthday is today. Of course, she made that little guy very, 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 very popular in this world, and of course that was the baby dance, the CGI thing from many years ago, or as they said on the TV show The Great Indoors, that baby's old enough to have its own baby. Kind of weird. So I got a really cool product here this week, and it looks like an Xbox Kinect, but what this is the Sense-I Generation 2, which is a you basically put it over the TV, like we could put it on top of this TV right here. And Single Q is the name of the product. And so we'll just leave it there. So anyway, you basically can remote control. It's a motion remote control. So I basically lift my hand and I do this and it'll unlock. Of course, it's not plugged in right. Whoops. Okay, it wasn't stable there. I just set it up there. But anyway, okay, so, wow, we had our first accident on Morning Geeks, so, yay! Anyway, so yeah, you basically put your hand, you do some hand gestures, and it'll remote control your TV, your box, and stuff like that. Don't worry, it's not broken. I guess it can handle a little bit of banging. And of course, if the plug was in, it would have probably just been dangling like that. I don't think I damaged anything else, but that's okay, just my ego. Let's move on. There you go. It's a Single Q. I'll have the link in the show notes where you can get one and go from there. Did I say Single Q? I meant Single Q. Single Q. That's what it is. Single Q, and it's for your. It's not an Xbox thing. You can hook it up. You can control your TV. You can control your over-the-top television. You can control your stereo and stuff like that. It's all app-based, so you just download the app on iPhone or Android and go from there. So, all right, that's enough of this. Once again, hey, go over to Geekazine.com for everything. And of course, like I said, Facebook.com/Geekazine. and youtube.com/Geekazine. Please subscribe and like there. And, of course, be a part of the Scony Geek Nation. It's very important because, the more that you help me, the more that I produce better shows. And I can bring somebody in to help me produce shows. I can get, you can come in and produce shows. You don't have to be a Scony geek through money. You can help out because I script this whole show. So I'd always love to have somebody find me some links, write up a couple of segments here. That would be great. That would help me immensely so I could put out this show. And, of course, you get credit in the show and go from there. So there's many different ways that you can be a part of the Scony Geek Nation. But if you want to be part of the Scony Geek Nation in the actual sense through the Patreon, go over to patreon.com/Geekazine. All right, today our main topic is going to be all the Marvel and DC movies until the end of 2020. They have it all scheduled, and for the most part, I mean, there's some stuff that's still waiting to figure out where it's going to go, and it's all really depending on who they're going to get for a director and times and schedules and stuff like that. But they have some really cool DC and Marvel movies coming out in the next 4 years. So all of us comic book and superhero geeks, we're going to love this. So, but of course we have a regular show. So let's get into the regular show and go from there. So, all right. No spoilers for you. No spoilers in the show, just so you know. But Robert Kirkman, actually no spoilers for anyone for this matter. Robert Kirkman already knows how this series is going to end. And the series that we're going to talk about is The Walking Dead. But he's not spilling any of those beans, not even to AMC. Or Zombie Guts, if you really think about it. But anyway, Kirkman said, I know what the end point is, and at the end of the day, I want this entire long narrative to be a complete story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. So we're spending a lot of time in the middle. So I kind of have to know what direction the direction is and where I have to know where the end point is to be able to keep building towards it. So we know, the bottom line is we know one of a few things. Either the group dies, that's one way of ending the show. Somebody finds out how to stop people from turning into walkers, that's another way. Everything, the planet explodes, that's another way. These factions continue to live on, and young Judith is the only one that survives out of this whole thing, that's another way. Aliens come down and eradicate the whole population. That's another way. We've got, there's so many different ways that The Walking Dead could end and go from there. Speaking of which, have you seen the fan theory out there? The fan theory that says that the show Breaking Bad actually could be a prequel to The Walking Dead, that there are some similarities between the two that make you think, well, maybe it wasn't the blue meth that turned everybody into walkers, but maybe we're in the same timeline. So we could possibly meet up with some of the cast of Breaking Bad later on in The Walking Dead. Saul is still alive as far as I know. Jesse Pinkman, I think he's still alive as far as I know. Walter White's family still alive as far as we know. Walter White, there's still some question of whether he's alive or not, so it's very possible. We could all of a sudden blue meth could start showing up on the streets. You never know. So anyway, you want to check that out. We got the link over at Movie Pilot for that spoilers, so you can read that over there. All right, well, for those of you who like it, the Pacific Rim fans, you'll love the fact that Pacific Rim 2 Electric Boogaloo started its production. They continue the fight of the Kaiju Gesundheit using giant robots called Jaegers. And no, they don't shoot Jaeger bombs. Maybe they do shoot Jaeger bombs. I don't know. I wasn't a really big fan of Pacific Rim, and so with the Pacific Rim 2 movie coming out, we'll see how it happens. But, it's kind of like a Transformers type movie with humans inside the Transformers. So interesting stuff. We'll see how that goes, but Pacific Rim 2 has finally started their production, and we'll see how it goes. I might just have to watch Pacific Rim to see if I can get into it to watch it too, but I don't know. It's not my thing, but if it's your thing, let me know. Tweet me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com, and we'll go from there. Of course, like I said, I'm trying to avoid any type of politics in the current election in the show, but yeah, I had to post this. George Takei said it perfectly. It must feel like having to hand the command of the Enterprise over to Khan. He's always got something good, and not as much. This is more of a snarky thing, but mostly good stuff. If you ever follow George, if you don't, then you should, because he's got some good stuff. But anyway, I saw that a couple days ago, and I just that sums it up for a lot of people. But anyway, enough of the politics. Let's move on, because we've got your comic book of the week. I don't know. That's how I did it. Anyway, comic book of the week actually isn't really as much of a comic book, but it's a very important part in our graphic novel area. And it's basically the official prequel novel to Rogue One, a Star Wars story called Catalyst. Comes out this coming Thursday. I think that's the 16th. It's written by James Luceno, and it's getting you ready for that December release movie. I don't think it's not the book that talks about the movie. It's the book that talks about the characters before the movie. So, and I'm guessing it's going to be in graphic novel form, and it's going to be in comic form. So if you really want to wait, go ahead and wait for it. But then the movie comes out in December. So you might want to read this so you're up to speed as to what Rogue One is going to happen. Basic synopsis is when in Star Wars Episode 4, when they say a group of rebels died to get these plans for the Death Star, this is the story of those rebels that get those plans. So, unfortunately, it's a spoiler right there, because we already know what's going to happen to this group of rebels at the end. It might not happen at the end of this movie, because I think they stretch it out for 2 or 3 movies, but eventually, you know what happens. So, anyway, that's it's sad, but that's part of how this everything works, and everybody dies, unfortunately. So that's life. That's life. Let's move on from Bat to Hawk to Vulture. I liked how you did that. Bat to Hawk to Vulture. I self-entertain. What can I say? Anyway, from Bat to Hawk to Vulture, that is the progression of Michael Keaton. He will be playing the villain Vulture for Marvel's Spider-Man Homecoming coming out next year. No word on if he's going to shave his head for the role, but he definitely has the look of Vulture in his later years. It might even be a good role to get him into his Beetlejuice character for Beetlejuice 2. I don't know. Maybe not. Now, of course, yeah, if you know the Vulture character, if you've seen it in the comics, it's this skinny, bald guy with a purple leotard and, the Vulture looking white around his neck. I have a feeling that that costume is not going to make it into the film. It might be something similar, but it's probably going to be something, neoprene-ish or, with body armor and stuff like that. A little bit more what you would see in the comic book movies nowadays, as they have been doing. So, but interesting. We'll see what happens. We'll see how Michael Keaton handles the Vulture character. First time that he's playing a bad guy, technically. I mean, I suppose in RoboCop he played the bad guy, but we're talking about a villain bad guy. And in the Hawkman movie, that wasn't really a bad guy. He was just misunderstood. So, anyway, let's move on from here. An alert. We've got an alert today at 2 p.m. Amazon is going to have the Nintendo NES Classic Edition available. The system comes with 30 preloaded games and a setup for your HDMI system. So yeah, you'll be able to hook it up to your flat panel TV and play the Mario Brothers in all the games. I think Link is on there, and you know, all the Nintendo classics are going to be on there. So if you want this system, 2 p.m. Pacific time, that is 5 p.m. Eastern time, that is when you go to Amazon. And of course, I have a link in the show notes where you can go to, that'll be that page, and you just have to refresh that page at 2 p.m. Pacific time, and get yourself a Nintendo NES Classic Edition. Now you wish you wouldn't have thrown out your NES, right? Okay, but it is smaller, and of course it's got I think you can actually use the NES controllers with your old ones. So if you have them lying in the basement, maybe we'll see what happens. So. All right, let's move on. Let's go into our next segment. It is called Video Game of the Week. And today we're talking about Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection. It comes out Thursday. Once again, that's November 16th. The game will include single-player campaigns from Creed 2, Creed Brotherhood, and Revelations. You can also get a free movie ticket for an upcoming Assassin's Creed movie, which of course is upcoming, and I believe that is in December that the movie will come out. And of course, it's in limited quantities. So if you really want to get the movie ticket with the game, which is like $59, you get it when it comes out. Once again, we have a link in the notes there that you can go to get it. So do that, and of course, that helps keep the lights on for me. And I thank you very, very much. They have arrived. New to this week. In the same spirit as Close Encounters of the Third Kind V and Independence Day, Arrival is about the first moments in finding out we're not alone on this godforsaken universe. Arrival is based on the book Story of Your Life by Ted Chiang, about a world that is in suspense on the intentions of alien life. The Love Witch is geeky in a few ways, witch geeks for one, but anyone that loves cinematic styling of the 60s Technicolor, this movie will definitely take you back. Elaine is the witch that just wants love. She makes spells and picks up men who ultimately die from those spells. While this is in limited release, I would guess this movie will pick up steam and get more theaters in the coming weeks. YouTube Red is debuting the Paranormal Action Squad. This is YouTube's first animated series, following in the line of Venture Brothers, Aqua Teen, Hunger Force, Boondocks, and more. It releases on Wednesday, November 16th. First view of Underworld Blood Wars hits the screens. Kate Beckinsale continues the fight against the Lycan clan. The movie hits theaters on January 6th. Finally, Dory is coming home. Well, kind of. Finding Dory will be available on DVD and Blu-ray this Tuesday. The sequel is about the Blue Tang fish. No, I didn't say Wu-Tang fish, I said Blue Tang fish. Basically finding out about family. As it got high scores on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, this will be a fun double feature night for you and the kids if you add the original Finding Nemo to the viewing. And that is new to this week. All right, thanks to everybody that's been watching Morning Geeks. We got a few people up there, and it's pretty early in the morning. So of course you can watch it live every Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And yes, I have been thinking possibly moving it to a Thursday rather than a Friday. But Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. And of course, like the page over at facebook.com/Geekazine, subscribe over at youtube.com/Geekazine, and you will be in the know when we do the show. And that's how we know we're doing the shows, because we go up on Facebook and look at it. So feel free to subscribe. And yes, please be a part of the Patreon movement over at patreon.com/Geekazine. $1 a month. That's $12 a year. So far, I've put out, this is episode number 26 of the show, and I started this in, was it April or May? And so we get about 30, 40 episodes. So, $12 for 30, 40 episodes a year, you can't go wrong there. You cannot go wrong there. And I hope that you become a part of the Scony Geek Nation. And of course, you can do it in many other ways too. Just contact me over at Geekazine. Follow me at Twitter. All the other good stuff. All right. Let's get back into the show so you can get the news that you want to get and go from there. Fantastic Beasts hasn't even come out yet. But it comes out next week, I believe. But we already know what the second movie is going to bring. Well, of course, that second movie is going to bring Mr. Johnny Depp Yes, the pirate, the Mad Hatter, the scissor-handed jump streeter will add Gelbert Grindwald, not Griswold, not Griswold. They're not going to Wally World or do anything like that. But Gelbert Grindelwald. There we go to his resume. I can't even say it. Grindelwald. There we go. So, but anyway, congratulations, Johnny Depp. We'll see what happens with this. Hopefully, Fantastic Beasts. I haven't seen the reviews yet, so I don't know how it's going to come out. I know it's going to come out great because, it's a J.K. Rowling thing, so people are going to go see it, no matter what, good or bad. And I think that's the important thing here is we've got a direction. So anyway, let's move on. We know that it's 6 seasons and a movie, but could it also be 10 seasons and a spin-off? Well, that's what CBS is eyeing, a prequel of Sheldon Cooper's character. Jim Parsons is on board and will probably be set in, I would guess, Texas during his childhood. Although no plans are really set on this show, and of course it all really depends on what happens with the Big Bang Theory, and go from there. So spin-offs are nice, but sometimes they kind of move things forward for like a year or two, and then that's pretty much it. Hopefully, Big Bang is still the number one show. The only problem with Big Bang is every year in TV, because of unions and contracts, it says that every year that a show continues, the actors get paid much more, and it's all preset. And then they can negotiate their contracts for even more money. So we're talking Jim Parsons, on Kelly Cuoco, and Johnny Galecki, and the whole cast is making at least 10 times more than they did the first season. And that is crazy. So, but that's how it works. So eventually they're just going to have to kill the show because they just can't afford it. It might still be super popular, but they might go, well, the return on investment just doesn't make any sense here. So we'll kill it, and maybe in 10 years we'll bring it back on Netflix. That's usually how that works. But we'll do a spinoff because spinoffs kind of reset the clock there. So Jim Parsons would have a new salary and stuff like that. And of course, you don't have the Johnny Galecki or the Kelly Cuoco. They might be on the show as bit pieces, but they'll have individual contracts which will be separate from the show. But anyway. The other thing is they don't know the name of the show. They don't know anything about it yet. But hopefully it won't be called Everyone Hates Sheldon. Like Everyone Hates Chris, the Chris Rock one. So anyway, I don't know. What do you think about it? Would you watch a Big Bang Theory spinoff? Of course, it really depends on how good or bad it is. And of course, you got to find actors. You got to find a young Sheldon. You got to find a young I can't remember his mom's name. And of course, then you'll see his twin sister. Maybe you'll see his father cast in the role. Maybe you'll see some other people. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. So, all right. If you go over to Movie Pilot, you can check this out to find out how well planned is Marvel and DC. Well, we know that they're well planned enough to know all the movie release schedule in schedule form until 2020 and a little bit beyond. And that's really cool because it's gonna include some TBA movies like the Harley Quinn spinoff, the Deadpool 2, Deadpool 3. Yeah, they've already figured out Deadpool 3. So, but we've got a big summer coming up. We're gonna have Spider-Man: Homecoming, which we talked about earlier. We're gonna have Wonder Woman. Gotta love that. The last Wolverine movie in Logan, I'm going to die. Anyway, the Lego, and of course the spinoff. No, of course, if you've, of course, yeah, of course. That's like 4 drinks right there. Anyway, did you know that there's a drinking game of when I say of course, certain words? Anyway, that's the, so drink. It is early in the morning. Go ahead, have a couple drinks here. But anyway, Logan, in the movie plot of Logan, and hopefully if you don't want spoilers, just plug your ears for like 2 minutes. They have this young girl who's supposed to be like Logan. Maybe they'll start using those movies with her because she'll have a long life as long as they don't grow her up really quick. and go from there. But anyway, Logan, we got the Lego Batman coming out. And of course, I didn't see any other Lego movies just yet, but Lego Batman's going to be a big one. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 this summer, Thor this summer, and whatever the named Justice League movie is coming this year as well. Now, in 2018, we're going to see Deadpool 2. We're going to see Black Panther. We're going to see The Flash. We're going to see Avengers Infinity War. We're going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is an important character for Ant-Man, so I can't wait for that one. Aquaman is coming, and the Batman reboot with Ben Affleck. So I don't know. I'm pretty much good with Batman. We talked about Michael Keaton. Even he's done with Batman. Time to move on, but we'll see what Ben Affleck has to offer for the role, and of course we need that for the Justice League movies. So 2019, we have Captain Marvel, Brie Larson being Captain Marvel. We have Shazam with The Rock. The Rock, can you smell what the Shazam is cooking? Because it's a lightning bolt. They can cook things. That's how it works. Anyway, 2020, we'll see Cyborg with Ray Fisher, The Green Lantern Corps, and Venom. That's Spider-Man. One of Spider-Man's nemesis is Venom. Movies like Gambit, Dark Justice League, The Inhumans, which, it's not part of that massive schedule, but The Inhumans, they talk about that on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So maybe Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will start to move over to the theaters. At that time, maybe Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be done with the TV. I don't know if that'll be 6 seasons. So that movie might be warranted at that point. So we'll see what happens. Now, we were not even mentioned what's going to happen in the TV schedules. Like I said, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Flash, Green Arrow, Supergirl, all that stuff. We weren't clued into what they're going to do on OTT shows like Netflix with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, all that stuff. There's going to be more than enough content to keep you entertained, probably until 2040, if you really have to watch movie after movie after movie. So let's just hope that, all these movies are going to be great. Let's make superhero movies great again. Yeah, I took that line. Anyway, hopefully let's just make all these movies great, and then we don't have any bad movies that Batman versus Superman. Oh gosh, Justice League, Green Lantern. Let's just put all that, Hulk. Let's put all that to the side. Let's make some awesome movies. The other thing is, let's hope that Stan Lee will actually be able to see all of those movies to 2020 because he is 93 years old. By the way, one more other movie that they forgot to add in that list was the Stan Lee Biopic, which comes out in April 2017. I'm going to avoid the blue meth jokes because I already talked about it on the Walking Dead Breaking Bad crossover, but because Bryan Cranston is playing Stan Lee. But I couldn't think of a better person to play Stan Lee either, and I'm very excited about this biopic. As long as they don't rush it, it should be a good movie. And maybe even Stan Lee will have a cameo in that. I would guess so. That would only make sense. So anyway, what superhero movie are you excited to see? And keep in mind, I just saw a video about this, and I'm going to talk about this in a future episode, and that's called the B movies. And sometimes, some of these companies like Asylum F make nothing but B movies, and they're basically spin-offs. Like Thor. When Thor came out, they made a Thor, which I saw on Sci-Fi, which had Greco from 21 Jump Street and Kevin Nash, the professional wrestler, as in the roles. And I watched that. It was kind of lame, but hey, it entertained me for an hour and a half, and it makes them a lot of money. So we'll see what kind of those movies come out with, because there might even be one like a Sharknado, because Asylum F had a Sharknado, and turn that into a series. You never know what happens there. And of course, any type of new superhero characters. I think we should make Morning Geeks superhero character and go from there. See, what Morning Geeks superhero character do you think we should do? Let me know. Tweet me over at Geekazine, and of course, Facebook.com/Geekazine, YouTube.com/Geekazine. Just type in Geekazine in a search engine. You found me. I'm there. That's how it works. So Anyway, that does it for the end of this show. Thank you very much for coming to the show, coming live. If you came out here live, we had a good number of people that were watching the show live. So thank you very much. Feel free to like it down there, and of course like the page and go from there. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. Of course, you also can get it in the audio format. You can go to iTunes, you can go to Google Play, and subscribe there. And so it comes out within a couple hours. So you can get your morning geeks on for the weekend. Anyway, so that happened. Let's move on. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. My name is Jeffrey Powers. We will be back. Here's the schedule. We'll be back next week. And then we're going to take a few weeks off, because the following week is Thanksgiving, and then I'm going to London for a couple weeks, and then we're going to have an episode. So in about 3-4 weeks, we'll have another episode. So stick around and go from there. But we will be back next week. So come back next week. Join us live at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 a.m. Pacific Time. You can't sleep. Why not? Just do it. So anyway, thanks a lot. You guys geek out and take care.